What's good, everybody? It's Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction, back at it with another video. We got another fantastic hip hop. How Drake may have just made the worst mistake of his career. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 10K. And happy Valentine's to you. Let me know what you got planned for today. But if you're watching this on Valentine's Day, but if not, it's been an interesting couple of weeks. You know, Kendrick with the Grammy wins, Kendrick with the mother flipping Super Bowl performance. And, Drake has been talking about this Party Next Door album. I did not know it was going to be a long project. I personally haven't heard it. I'm not a fan of Party Next Door. So and and I just haven't heard anything good from Drake in a minute. So it's very interesting. There's been talks that maybe Kendrick might drop something. There was something that popped up, but it was somebody tagging Kendrick in it. It wasn't actually like Kendrick, because when you went to his page, that wasn't the case. And it happened before, and I had reacted to that song, and it was just like, nah, that's an older song. And I was like, really? I hadn't heard it. So I don't know if you've heard the Drake and Party Next Door album. Let me know what you thought about it. I personally, unless y'all really want to see me do a reaction to it, the let me know. But I have zero intention of hearing the project. But let's see what Fantastic Hip Hop thinks, that Drake recently did. Because he's been going off the deep end, talking about Joe Budden, Serena Williams, everybody but Kendrick, and
Now, with the point we are at, as Drake is having one of the worst weeks of his entire career because of just how
seriously.
much the Super Bowl has humiliated his
Say
entire
Drake.
name, unlike real greats who, when they are down, try to win back people to their side and do something
Yeah.
that may be a step in the right direction, Drake is only marking his territory further and further in the losses he has already taken. And now, while Drake has been embarrassing nonstop after the Grammys and Super Bowl, and we have all seen this, with what Drake
Yeah.
has just done and what he is about to follow it up with, he isn't just doing something anymore that is making us all laugh at him even more for being the biggest loser in hip hop, but he has made a mistake so bad that he has angered and been put within the worst light possible from the people who made him the star who he became in the first place. And of course, I am talking about his label UMG, as now
UMG.
beyond
Yeah.
Drake even suing them, Drake managed to make things even worse as he just made this beef personal within the strangest way between him and the head of the label, Lucian. And now, between what Drake did, which just disrespected the wrong person, and the fact that he is now about to
Was it
release
the
his
whole
new album and
pre-sales?
try to prove that he is bigger than his label in the industry, although we all know he is not, what is now
Yeah. Okay. I think I see where he's going with it. For one, I just think that it was a wrong move for Drake that after all of this went down, for him to drop a collab project. To me, it just didn't make any sense. It would have made more sense for him to have drop his project and maybe have a couple of these cuts on it, because don't know about y'all. I don't even, it's not that I wouldn't listen to a long album. It's just that it's got to be actually worth it. And with a lot of Drake's recent projects, with them being pretty long, to where it's like he is the prime example of quantity versus quality. Kendrick is the prime example of quality versus quantity. And I think what Drake has been doing is just all like, yo, let's just drop a whole bunch of tracks on there, and everybody will at least like one song. But everybody, for the most part, will hear all of them. So to me, I'm just all like, I I just never put me personally, I just never put projects together like that. All of my projects have some sort of meaning, cohesion behind it, theme behind it, storyline, and not all projects need that. I completely understand it. But why call it an album then? Why not just make it a playlist? Because it's ultimately like, just have this playlist. But with what I've heard in regards to this is that somehow Drake found a loophole and something with the pre-saves. But I think all this stems around the project with Party Next Door. And personally, I just don't think that it's gonna go the way that Drake thinks, unless all of this is the try to get off of UMG so that way he can do his own thing, you know. So we'll see.
Is that beyond whatever else Drake has done in the past, he has officially made sure that he is never going to have a career and the industry is about to make an example out of him so bad. But now, before we go any further into all of this, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And so now with Drake, I mean, when it comes to how this guy handles problems and decides to make moves, at this point, it really seems like he doesn't even want to have a career anymore, because there's just no way you can make this many awful decisions for the betterment of your career as a whole. Because once again, after losing nearly everything, Drake is making the same mistake that made Pusha T embarrass him, Kendrick Lamar take away everything he ever had, and has even made LeBron never speak to him again, and in all honesty, within a way that is much weirder and more off-putting is when it comes to Drake and UMG right now, as Drake is back on his plot twist account and is trying to hype up his new album with Party Next Door, which in of itself, and just to show how many problems Drake is having, nobody seems to care about that record at all. Drake is now making strange posts to try and get some sort of attention for this record, and while he was trying to build an aesthetic for what is about to become his lamest album, the post that got the most attention was a picture that Drake posted of Lucien's daughter-in-law Sofia Richie, and when everyone saw Drake do this, and was questioning that if after losing to every single other person he has to this point and making them as angry as they did because he involved their families, why would he do this now against the most powerful person in the industry?
Yeah, no, it sounds like career suicide is what it sounds like. It sounds like he is trying his best to get dropped from the label. To me, that's just what, because this reminds me of some stuff that Ye would do. Super self-destruct, so that way all the particular companies that was aligned, that was tied with him, that he didn't want to be tied with, hit the button, and because otherwise, to me, unless y'all got something, let me know in the comments, it just does not make sense. It's like everything from the lawsuits, the way that he's navigating this particular album, because there really hasn't been a push around it other than Drake. Maybe some Drake fans, but I haven't even heard a lot of his Glazers hype him up in this project. Maybe they would have said it in passing, but no, like, I wouldn't say nobody because it's just not true. But I think if anything, and I think on the Breakfast Club, or maybe it might have been something else because I was looking at a couple of things this morning. If people are going to listen to it, it's just going to be to hear if he says anything in regards to the beef. And apparently he did. In the little snippets that I've heard of the project, I'm just all like, this isn't it. This is what you come back to? After everything, you going out in Australia with the freaking bullet holes and you still with the smoke and this is what you come out with? And it's so sad because I think I was sitting up there at some store recently and I heard an older Drake song. And it's good, like I'm not going to take away what Drake was able to do. He just hasn't been there in some time. It's like the Heart Part 6, as far as the version that Drake had did, would have been dope if it was actually dope because the beat was fire. The cadence that he was going on was fire because I remember reacting to it and I was just all like, yo, you should have came with this energy from the jump. Like, but what he was saying made it all, and it was just all like, so that gave like a kind of glimpse, but everything else just been. I wasn't feeling a lot of stuff. A lot of people had liked the Family Matters joint. Um, the beat was really, really cool. I just personally didn't like it. Um, but yeah, to me, this just sounds like he wants off the label, because you posted his step out. It's just all like, why? What, like, why? And who is advising him to do this? And a lot of people will be like, well, no one needs to advise Drake. Da, da, da. He's Drake. Most people, they have some sort, not most people, but people at that level, they have some sort of counsel. Now maybe someone is telling him and his ego is just all like, nah, son, but I don't think so. Somebody should have been like, yo, this ain't it. Don't drop this Party Next Door. Like, you go in there, drop like a cool EP, 5 to 7 songs that's actually of Drake, that could be a teaser to something bigger. But all the release, and it's just all like he's dropped a lot of stuff in this time span. He's dropped more than Kendrick, but it's just been garbage. Everything from the next thing he dropped after the Heart Part 6, I think it was the Hey There Delilah remix or that Sexy Red song. And then he drops the 100 Gigabytes, which had a couple of songs on there. Then you have this Party Next Door. And I think there was something, the little leak in between the Iris freestyle, whatever. But just none of it has been sticking. And this is why I said he is quantity versus quality, and Kendrick is more of the quality versus quantity. And it sucks because, this is always that balance. This is always that balance, even when it comes to being an artist coming up. I feel like there's a period of time that you can oversaturate on a particular level to where it's not too much. Hell, some people say the way that Currency drops is too much. I'm not saying that if you have a fan base, it's not, it's not wrong to drop all the time. But it's just what Drake has been dropping has just been garbage.
While Drake's remaining fans may think he is standing up to the industry and is tough for this, we all just see this as another losing move that, beyond being weird, considering the actual effects that angering the people you are messing with can have on this entire move, just doesn't seem well thought out at all. But really, none of Drake's other moves have been in the first place, so I guess we shouldn't be surprised. And now, beyond Drake's obsession with making all of his feuds and standoffs that are over his career so personal, the question we need to ask is if Drake realizes that in this time where between both the success that Kendrick Lamar is seeing, as he is literally breaking every record on the charts, and even other artists who he has beef with like The Weeknd, who just did record numbers with his new album, that overall, beyond the competition of dropping right in this time where the biggest stars who you compete with have never been elevating their careers and names higher, that now you are not just going to have to stand off against and follow up the time where Kendrick Lamar has 5 songs in the top 10 on the Billboard and the entire top 3, and 3 top 10 albums to make things even harder, and the highest monthly listener count from a rapper, and now over 90 million listeners because that keeps going up, and so much else. But when it comes to the label that has made sure that every single one of your albums up to this point performed the way it was supposed to, even when the quality was lacking, and of course you already have major problems with, Drake just made things so much harder as he took this feud to an entire new level, which is without a doubt gonna solidify that for the first time in Drake's career, This record is not going to get pushed the way his past albums were, which means that it won't be
It's
forced onto
not.
every playlist and trying to have every
It's
single
not.
draw that it possibly.
It's not. Like literally, because I was just all like, oh yeah, because I didn't think that the project was coming out. I went to Drake's YouTube and just to see, and after the Heart Part 6, there was, promo for this project. And I was surprised that it had been up for a couple of days and it hadn't hit 1 million views yet. And I was just all like, damn. Oh, for Drake standard, Drake fan standards, I was like, damn. Shit. Oh yeah, no. There's been zero. I haven't seen a YouTube ad about it. I haven't seen, not that I'm on Spotify all the time, but like I said, I'm just not seeing anything for it, which is weird because it's just all like, yo, can't you put your own money behind it? And to go on your social media and think that by creating controversy is going to be the thing that drives record sales, it's just all like, you look corny. All these things make Drake look corny right
Can,
now.
which overall will then make this music, which already sounds so lacking, have the very difficult task of standing on its own for the first time in Drake's entire career since he has been in the actual industry. And I mean, considering the fact that Drake's fans are making a push and full-on plan on how to support Drake and this new album because even they are scared of having to defend the mess that he has made and they do not believe that he can put up numbers like he did in the past, because otherwise they would not be making an organized effort to support this thing. This is really showing just how bad of a position Drake is in right now, because with the fact that the most delusional fan base in hip-hop is now starting to see the reality of where their favorite artist is at, which is of course not a good one. It is just starting to create the final chapter in what is going to be the moment that is going to end Drake's career once and for all. Because with Drake releasing an album in this time, we're now beyond him losing all of his hype as an artist. Because more than ever, we saw the people are pretty much done with him for the most part at the Super Bowl. He has now just made the last thing that, as we all know, can make careers still look like they are going strong even when they are not. Just have no reason to not just never support you again, but in actuality work against you. Because again, as Drake is now making this beef and standoff he is having with his label go to the most personal level, as he is bringing the head of UMG's daughter-in-law into the public eye, and is now having his weird fans all talking about her and giving her unnecessary attention within this.
Yeah, that, besides messing with Kendrick, and you would think that he would learn his lesson. Before we get into that, this video is sponsored by me. Hey, if you want to dive into new music, I have a catalog. Yeah. These are not singles, these are albums. But more recently this year, I did release an album called Tame Chaos. So you can listen, stream, download, purchase all of that in the link in the description. And just, check it out because I want to see if people are actually seeing this and going to the site. So anyways, this is the wildest stuff to witness. You would think that he learned his lesson with not messing with people after Kendrick gave him the smackdown. But now you're going to get somebody who is more valuable than you. You know, you're dealing with somebody who that's why Fantastic Hip Hop, named this the title the way that he did, because that is a big mistake. That is a big mistake. And again, the only either he's very, very delusional and full of himself, which it definitely could be, or he is trying to get out of this UMG. He doesn't even want to be on the same label as Kendrick. He doesn't want to have any association ties to nothing. And that's why I feel like he's doing this. And within doing that, he gets to do his own thing, and he feels like he would do better that way because maybe he's seeing the success that Kanye is having, and he's just all like, I ain't even got to deal with, that because I'm Drake, but I'm just all like, I really think I haven't seen anyone really lose this bad as far as the rap beef besides maybe Ja Rule. But I would think that the last thing you would be trying to do is step out on your own at a time where you just got completely embarrassed and continue to get embarrassed. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Do you think that this is actually Drake's biggest mistake by posting Lucia's daughter? Let me know in the comments. But it's Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction. Back at it with another reaction. Make sure you leave like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 10K. Make sure to check out the description for my music, books, comics, and more. All right, y'all. Peace.